Run only one program on Windows at startup without any other services. I have an old laptop and I want to use it only to display my microscope. Laptop running Windows 7 starter. What I want to do is to disable all services and only make it run the program of my microscope, so when I start my laptop it will boot into Windows but only run a specific program automatically without any other services running in the background, even Explorer.
Modify the following registry value to start a program other than Windows Explorer. key_local_machine /software/Microsoft/Windows NT/current version /winlagon/shell. As for the services, use the services.msc. Warning, you may run into various issues without many of the services running.
You cannot disable all services. Many services are critical to the basic functions of your system, including Explorer. The good news is that the services that can be disabled are easy to disable. Open services and go to each one in turn, and attempt to set its startup state to disabled. Restart your computer frequently to make sure the computer loads OK with the new batch of disabled services. Repeat until you've cleaned everything out that can be cleaned out. A good resource for determined services that can be disabled is BlaViper, this URL. A lot of careful research and feedback goes into BlaViper, and the advice there can save you lots of effort and pain.
Most of the services, if not all, can be controlled via value start under registry key_local_machine /system/current control set /services/. Please note that current control set and aforementioned registry key is linked to either control set 001 or control set 002 as described here. Now the value start can have values from 0 to 4, see config for reference. 0. Boot specifies a device driver that is loaded by the bootloader. 1. System specifies a device driver that is started during kernel initialization. 2. Auto specifies a service that automatically starts each time the computer is restarted and runs even if no one logs onto the computer. 3. Demand manual specifies a service that must be started manually. This is the default value if start equals is not specified. 4. Disabled specifies a service that cannot be started. To start a disabled service, change the start type to some other value. While going to that mad service disabling spree, first check service start value and mark it down. Prepare yourself with alternative booting media. Any Windows installation media will do, in case system becomes unbootable due to necessary service disable. If shit happens, boot from external media, switch to console, Shift plus F10 ERC, is greater than reget it is greater than .2key_local_machine and load hive is greater than /Windows/system32/config/system. Now locate under loaded hive control set 001/services and you can undo previous mistakes with setting start values to defaults. Here is a little batch script to list all services default until modified by user, which then becomes default, values under key_local_machine /system/current control set /services. Paste the above code to default services.bat and run it as default services.bat is greater than default services.txt to generate text file, which can be utilized later to see service default values.
If you want to support the channel, please consider subscribing.